Hi, welcome to the Pole Shift News, the home of the maverickstar Observatory. Guys, as you know, one of our magnetometers got sent back from the Gold Coast of Australia. We received it today. First inspection I made of the device was, just to pull the SD card out, but it felt strange when I pulled it out because usually they're a lot tighter when you're pushing them in and out of the SD card reader within the device. So, on closer inspection of that, I found that the SD card, first of all, was smashed on the one end, and that's why it was going in and out the actual slot on the SD reader very easy. So the SD card is unrecognisable when you plug it into the PC, so that's scrap. The other thing which is more peculiar is what the actual device is putting out. Now, I wrote the program in a very specific way, and I can see from what I'm looking at and what you guys are seeing now is that this is not my program. So I do know that Richard sent this in to somebody to have a look at. What I believe they've done is tried to reprogram it with a magnetometer program, but albeit very basic, because it's completely not recognizing the fact that it's even got an SD card shield on the actual breakout board. Not only that, it's completely omitted the date, time and hour grouping. So I can just tell by the format of which this is coming out that this was not my program. So somebody must have looked at it on behalf of Richard, attempted to reprogram it, and done, as you can see, a real piss poor job of it. So I'm going to put the original program on, and we're going to put a brand new SD card in there, and we're going to see what we get. So let's go and do that. So as you can see, we've rebooted the onboard chip with the original program, and straight away we can see we're getting the microtester strength in the first column delimited by commas, thereafter the date, the time, the minutes, the seconds, then we've got the 6th of the 7th 2019, which is the date. The only other thing I had to do before I added this program is just to let it know it got an onboard clock, so that we could configure the date time grouping as we've got here. But this just goes to show, guys, how much time and effort went into writing the program. Anyone can build the breakout board. Well, I would say most people could, or if they got a little bit of knowledge of electronics, they could easily put a device like what we've got here together. But the difficult thing would be getting it to bring out the data in a format that you require, so that you can actually do something with. And this is why it was laid out in this format. During the writing of the program, we have to think about a lot of things. Like, for instance, when this magnetometer come back, and whoever had tried to reprogram it, obviously they'd probably gone onto a website where they could download a program that would match the the magnetometer, and it'd have to be the right program, and otherwise it just simply wouldn't recognize it. So they had to obviously download the magnetometer program appropriate for the chip. And obviously, as you saw at the beginning of this video, it just then spits out X, Y and Z coordinates, which if it doesn't utilize those X, Y, Z in a specific way, you're never going to find out nothing. And I don't mind even telling you guys a few little bits of data about it. X, Y and Z, out of those three coordinates, to measure the background intensity of whatever magnetic field you're interested in observing, you would only use just the X and the Y coordinates, and it'd be a calculation between those two coordinates that would give you the actual UT strength. You see, a lot goes into writing the program, and this is one of the reasons why I don't give out the program. And it's because of the amount of time that went into actually writing the program. Many months. I mean, some of this program comes from the TriMag system. The only thing that isn't part of this program is that the fact that we're concentrating on the intensity, not just the direction, whereas the TriMag works out the direction, so it works with the X, Y and Z coordinates, and we get therefore a heading of where the magnetic pole is. Whereas this is just like I say, it's focusing on just those two X and Y, and that's why we get an intensity reading. So that you can use magnetometers in many different ways. You can use arrays of magnetometers so that you get different required information. So just as another test, guys, I thought I'd whip the SD card out, make sure that the SD writer is actually writing the data to the SD card, and just bring up a quick chart. And this is what we're looking at. As you can see, we put it through a test where it's took 10,500 or so separate data packets of the intensity. As you can see, I've shifted the magnetometer around at a few different intervals so I can make sure that the magnetometer is doing what it's supposed to do. And usually we set this to about 900,000 milliseconds, which is 15 minutes in layman's terms, but on this occasion, so we could put it through its paces, we set it to just 1,000 milliseconds, which is a second. So it took readings for the last few hours to the amount of 10,300. Guys, again, this just reiterates how much time went into actually writing the program, and that even if you've got a bit of an idea, you can't get these things to do exactly what we get them to do, and that just shows you the level of time that went into actually building these devices, and not just building them but actually getting the program right. I went through a lot of testing of different methods of getting the data back out. Not only is there mathematics involved in working out X, Y and Z for different purposes, but there's also a lot of other things that go into the actual programming, like how exactly bright do you want the LEDs on the device to illuminate. It's tedious, these little things, but if you miss just one full stop or one piece of code, the whole device does not work. And that's why it was frustrating during the first 2 years of writing the TriMag system. Don't forget, the TriMag is even more complex than this, because it transmits all its data via wirelessness to the actual master, which is in the spare room at my property. And it's capable of doing that over a kilometre. And it just goes to show, there was a lot of data that had to be put in the program for it to, and it had to be exactly right for it to do what it done. But yeah, guys, what more can I say? So yeah, guys, the bottom line is that we've got the magnetometer back up and running, and thankfully for that we have, because we've got just 6 of these. I keep saying to people, these are rare units. When you consider it, really, there are more Ferraris, more Lamborghinis, more £10 million yachts in this world than there are of these magnetometers. And I know that these magnetometers are nowhere near of the same value of what those objects are, but I'm just saying that they're rare. As you guys know, they're prototypes. We've only got 6 of them at the moment, but we do have one of our subscribers now, Scott, you know who you are, out there looking for the chips, because I do believe that there are these chips that we use for this specific program that are out there still, and he's going to use some of his time in locating them chips for us. So yeah, guys, we're back on the road. We just need to get it back out to its home, and start collecting the data again. I want to say very quickly, big thank you to those people that have supported us to this point. There's a lot of work that goes involved now. I dare say, more of you are starting to appreciate that. But without the support, we couldn't have built these devices. I couldn't have invested the time in programming them and building them and getting them out, to where they are now. And, at the end of the day, we've managed to amass a global observatory. We've got stations now in 5 places around the world. This one's about to go back out, hopefully to Australia. And, from that point on, it'll be a matter of just analysing the data, and that should tell us how things are progressing, how fast they're progressing, and more importantly, it will allow us to forecast how long it is going to be before something serious, more serious than what has already happened, takes place. and that's the whole purpose. You know, it gives us a heads up, early warning system as to what's going on. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. You know, if you want to help support us, you know, and I really hope that I encourage a few more of you to do so. You know, the link's down there. You know, we've got like just around about 200 people now that are supporting the observatory regularly, and if you want to become one of those, you know, the links are down there. You can do it on Patreon, or if that's not for you, there's a PayPal link. But you know, we put your money to good use, and you know, we've managed to get really this far on the small amount of budget that we have got, and you know, achieve some fantastic results to this date. And I just hope that, you know, that continues, and that the people grow that want to support us. So, you know, with that, I'll say, you know, enjoy the rest of the weekend, guys. It's been a unusual day here at the maverickstar Observatory, and you know, with that, I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.